Here we have dumbbell scaption here. We're at about 30 degrees in the scapular plane with the thumbs up towards the ceiling, sometimes known as the full can. We want a nice pivot through that scapular plane to isolate that lower trap if we can. Real deliberate move, taking care not to shrug. Then here we go from an alternating dumbbell scaption position, one at a time. This tends to have a fairly low load because it's a fairly deliberate, isolated move here. Again, trying to get in that real scapular plane here. This is our vertical push here to keep us from being too far overhead. Here's our lateral fly. The elbow's locked in at 90 degrees and just doing pure abduction here. This is the precursor to the lateral fly with external rotation, but again, this is a vertical push with minimal overhead movement here. And then shown from the side here so we can see that scapula in that downward retract position and know that we have our neutral hang in the arm position here. So we don't want excessive flexion or extension of the shoulder. We want that nice, even neutral plane there. Watching for shrugging. Lateral fly, external rotation. We basically try to keep the elbows locked in at 90 degrees for pure rotational component at the top. So we got abduction, then external rotation here. Taking real care not to shrug, to have those shoulder blades in that seated, packed, safe position. And again, this is another vertical push exercise that keeps us from going real high overhead for people with shoulder dysfunction here. Here we have our check press, which is another vertical push here. We call this a four-part move. Neutral grip, we go straight up, rotate out to the back, pull down back behind the ears, close to parallel. So we're introducing a fairly low-risk overhead move here by staying in a neutral grip as we go overhead. Then we rotate, externally rotate, pull back behind the ears, all the way down in parallel. So the cues that we go are straight up, rotate out, pull back and down, close to parallel. Here's our neutral grip dumbbell overhead press. So we're staying straight up in front of us, almost in a sagittal plane, if we can think about it. Our thumbs are facing behind us, and we're going straight up, straight in, the cue being trying to keep those elbows tucked in. Then we just merely go from an alternating neutral grip overhead press, that safe, locked in position at the bottom here. Notice we want the grip tight, the core tight underneath the weights, going straight up, straight down as best we can. And then we go what we call a seesaw. So we just have an alternating rhythm pattern here. Again, trying to stay tall and straight underneath the grip.
Barbell overhead press. We're going to take a little bit wider than shoulder width grip on the bar with the elbows underneath the bar. Bar starts at collarbone height and ends over the ears, right over the middle of the feet. I'm a little bit exaggerated here as I poke my head through. The core is tight, the glutes are squeezed real tight, and that provides a solid foundation as we press the barbell as close to the face as possible and end right over the top of the ears here. Barbell push press. We're going to take the same grip as we did on the overhead press, and then we're going to integrate the use of the hips and legs into the movement here to provide some momentum so we can use a heavier weight. We're going to push the butt back, heel dip so the weight is on the heels, and then thrust the barbell overhead, trying to float it and lock it out. The barbell ends right over the top of the ears, in line with the middle of the feet.